Hello, hi to all of you Pilates instructors. So we're just doing a little refresh from the Womankind Health theme to you instructors. Hopefully it's helpful, hopefully it's a reminder, hopefully it's just there as a bit of info. And it's to look after our clients that we are seeing in our classes that are pregnant. So specifically for our antenatal ladies. So these ladies might already be in your class already, and they might tell you that they're pregnant. They might tell you that sooner than they might even tell some of their friends. That's the privilege of being a health professional or someone in that that trust circle where they want you to know so that you can look after them properly. So if they do tell you, what should you do? You should let the client care team know so they can update Go Team Up, or if you've got the allowance to do that yourself, then pop a note on Go Team Up and in the alerts and say pregnant, and possibly give an estimated delivery date if they tell you that information due October or 2022, so that that stays up to date and we can see how relevant and up to date that information is. It would be good for us to be able to update their medical forms. That's just a process that we're reviewing as well. But they may come through from our Womankind Health service and come into the classes through one of the packages that they've got. And then they would have a set of notes to be able to reference as well. And it may be that we can give a handover and you can get in touch with one of us as well if we've been seeing them physio-wise. So anyway, if they're in your class, obviously it's something to be able to reassure them that we are able to modify things appropriately and that Pilates is in fact a very safe way of exercising in pregnancy. So we want to just cover here the main modifications. So there's some changes to how we would teach these ladies, not major changes and all things that we really have access to equipment and ability to modify and alter for them. So when would we start changing these and modifying their positions? So a little reminder about pregnancy and the 3 trimesters that we talk about in pregnancy. First trimester we talk about is that 0 to 12 week mark. Now there's no particular positional restrictions in that phase, and we might not even know they're pregnant. They might not have told you they're pregnant, that might not be where they're at, but if they may be really tired, they may be feeling really rubbish, they might not be able to do a full class, they might not, so you may have picked up just some of those things and maybe asked how they are, just if you're not seeing them kind of put in their usual. So they may be telling you something at that point, or it may be just that you're just going with where they're at that point. But no positional changes and restrictions in that first trimester. Second trimester in pregnancy is from 13 weeks to 27 weeks. So that's kind of that middle chunk. And in that time, we would say no supine shoulder bridge. Yeah, so no shoulder bridge in second trimester. And off their back completely is a little bit of a grey area. So different research says different things. Roughly, some say from 12 weeks, some say up to 28 weeks. That's where it's kind of a little bit of a grey area. But personally, for me, I tend to say after 18 weeks, I get them off their back and doing any supine stuff in alternative positions. That could be depending on how they feel, and that may be different from what you feel comfortable to put them in. If you just think from 12 weeks you want to get them off the back, that's fair enough, but it's a little bit of a grey area. I personally would go from about 18 weeks. Because we know that the uterus is coming up out of the pelvis at that point, and the load on the cardiac system can mean that they can get some dizziness and symptoms on their back. So just taking care of them that way and checking in with them really as well. But we are keeping things quite low impact. We're low impact, but we're usually keeping things quite kind of low level if that's where they're at. But obviously for some of our more advanced classes that might not be the case. So we just need to gauge it depending how they feel as well. We don't do any prone in that second trimester, so they're getting a bump, so we don't want them to lie onto their tummy in that stage. Third trimester is that 28 week to term, so 40 to 41 weeks. So this is when, bump is bigger, baby is obviously taking up a lot of that space in their abdominal cavity and pushing up into that rib cage. So There's no grey area here, it's definitely black, it is off their back, and they are they're up into alternative options for positions there. If they've got any musculoskeletal symptoms start to creep in, so any aches and pains, just check in with them and modify that appropriately. If they're sore in pubic bone, we want to just try and avoid too much of that abduction movement, just reduce the range that they're going to. If you're not sure though, check with us if we've seen them, and just have a chat with them as to what they feel comfortable doing. They may just feel heavier, they are heavier, their balance might be a little bit off, and their whole centre of gravity and posture has changed with that groin bump, so things can just feel a little bit different for them, and they may need just that little bit more support, so offering those options of being by the wall and things as well. So keep checking in with them. That's the main note there. If they're not supine, so if they're not on the back, what options do we have? So we tend to like more seated options, so on the gym ball. On our big gym ball is a really nice place to be, because they can do some nice movements through their pelvis here, and they can do some of their their scissor type exercises and hundreds, and they can work quite a lot of movements onto that gym ball. Standing options are great as well, so really nice and functional. We tend to not use the incline wedge, it's just not that functional. There's better positions, and we've got a preference for side lying. Side lying is lovely. If you pop a towel or even a deflated softball between the knees, just to give them a little bit of alignment through their pelvis, just takes some of that stress and strain off the pelvic joints, and just when you're not getting them prone, think of, we're great, you know, as instructors, we're creative, we can try and be really inventive with other ways to get them working. So if they're not prone, then maybe hands and knees is a good option for them, on all fours, and they're swimming their different positions there. Just to bear in mind then, so some general points. They're quickly changing, so their musculoskeletal system is all kind of changing quite regularly, so you do need to check in with them week to week. It's not kind of one of those slow burn, things are going to change as this baby grows. Each week things are going to be changing in the benchmark, so ask them how they are, and if there's any changes for you to be aware of, even in their general health, how they are feeling energy wise, where things are at with baby, where their anxiety is. Just check in with them and show that we're caring and considerate to where they're at. If they develop any signs of pelvic girdle pain, you might need to maybe refer them on to us, and for us to be able to do that more thorough assessment with them. But you may just need to adapt things alongside as well, to be able to maybe keep it to closed chain exercises, keep it to just a smaller range, as I mentioned. So just avoid that excessive stretching. That's another kind of point as well, not taking them to the end range. Just that laxity in their ligaments can mean things are a little bit more lax, and with the hormonal changes. So just again, not taking them to that end range stretch possibly as well. They might be a bit more unsteady in terms of their balance for weight, so get them close to the wall, have some support handy, and just if they're feeling a little bit dizzy, or if their blood pressure changes, so just that transition up and down, make sure they drink plenty, make sure their temperature is regulated, don't let them overheat. Those are all really important kind of little points just to be a little bit extra vigilant of with these ladies. But remember, Pilates is great for these ladies, it's great for these clients. We want to really prioritise and encourage and reassure these antenatal clients that they can be moving and exercising in this way. Exercise in Pilates is low impact and low risk, so they're not going to be able to do their contact sports if they did those. So coming into this type of class is really good. So our risk is pretty low for them if we follow these recommendations and guidance around this. And we know that the list of exercises the benefits of exercise is huge. The list is huge, but think a pregnant lady, there's 2 people that we're dealing with, so it's like double the benefit of exercise because the baby gets the benefit and the mum. So that's great to bear in mind as well when we're keeping these ladies happy and supporting them in their class. They're a really wonderful client group. It is a privilege to be able to work with them, and we do see them blossom, we see them progress, and we know how important it is that they keep moving, how that will impact their labour and their delivery and possibly their postnatal rehab as well. So really privileged time to be part of in their life. And they will remember that. They remember you, they remember the classes for that in that time and in that journey. It's very significant for them. And we don't want them to feel a burden. We want them to feel really looked after. So I suggest when you do plan, I tend to just do a little column at the side of my plan for antenatal modifications. Just put in and plan for these ladies in your classes if you see them go team up and they're coming into your classes, so that you've got alternatives. We don't want them to feel that we'll just thinking it up at the time, that we've got something to say, right, I'm going to set the class up with the exercise, and if we get the ball ready, we're going to come up after sitting. I'll show you what we're going to be doing just in a minute. So letting them know what's coming, letting them know what equipment they're going to need, and just get the other class set up and get to them. Personally for me, I taught here all the way through my 3rd pregnancy and up until kind of 30+ weeks, and I was modifying things and teaching still a whole class. So it was such a lovely way to still be able to do it, and with the modifications they're absolutely possible, and it's what we're good at. It's what we're good at being creative, it's what we're good at modifying, it's what we're good at helping people specifically have those bespoke exercises. So always feel free to check with our Women Health team, Tanya, Emily, myself, and just check in if you're unsure about anything or have any questions. Otherwise, hope this has been quick 12 minutes, a video of refresher for you. Thank you, see you soon, bye.